What a great day for Bay Path. Can you all join me in giving Chairman Neal a round of applause? To start our brief program this morning, I invite the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of Bay Path University, Wayne Webster, to offer greetings from the board.
Good morning, everyone. If I'm looking a little weird, I can see my notes, but I can't see most of you out there. So it's indeed an honor to welcome Congressman Neal here to the Bay Path campus. And I bring you greetings from the Board of Trustees. This is a great occasion. I love days like this. And I love the introduction of happy. This is a happy occasion for us. Today, we're celebrating Congressman Neal and the support he has given to this university, and most importantly, the direct impact his tireless advocacy has on our students. So let us also celebrate the success of our students. It's also appropriate to celebrate our faculty and staff, who will now do the work to make the promise of this award a reality. And how opportune. Today is Employee Appreciation Day. Congressman Neal has been an extraordinary friend and advocate of the Bay Path's mission and our strategic initiative. I would like to add one other word to describe him: collaborator. I say this word in the best sense possible. You're collaborating with us on our vision that Bay Path students will have a better career, richer life, and a brighter future. Congressman Neal, this is the aspiration that drives the Bay Path community. Together with your support, we're ultimately working to build a healthier, stronger, and more vibrant community. These are communities where we work, live, and raise our families. This is our home. We are so proud, with your help and your advocacy across the region, to make our home a better place for all of us. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to share our deepest thanks to you and to your staff as well. So give them a round of applause. Congressman Neal, we are truly appreciative of your support and your commitment over the years. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to turn you back to President Doran. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. What a terrific, uplifting beginning to our program this morning. So, Chairman Neal, 2 years ago, Chairman Neal was here with us to announce our HRSA grants and celebrate with us over at the Ryan Center. Those HRSA grants, which enabled us to serve more people in our community, as well as to really focus in on the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging that is so important to us and so critical to our core values, those 2 grants were transformative. This grant today will have an equally transformative impact. This grant allows us to develop a student success center, which will be at the core of how we serve our students. It has to do with creating that culture of caring that is our distinguishing factor. It is what separates us and what defines us as a community. And so this culture of caring is going to be so enhanced because caring involves heart and head. It involves leading edge technology and personalization. It involves high impact practices. It includes highly trained and highly dedicated professional faculty and staff, and combining all of that to enable us to help our students at every level no matter whether they're online or on ground, no matter whether they're undergraduate or graduate, to really achieve their dreams. That is who we are at our core. With us today is Janine McVeigh, Jeremy Anderson, and Heather Gould. If you will stand up, these are the architects of today's grant. So as you can imagine, these grants are highly competitive. And so it was really important that we really refine this grant, that we zero in on the benefits to our students who then go out into our community. You all know this. 80% of our students come from our community and stay in our community. So we are truly that pipeline. We really are grateful for this support because this will enable us to continue to do what we do best, which is to provide the best student learning experience we can. So thank you, Chairman Neal. You have been a friend of ours forever. And we're extremely grateful, and we look forward to your words of inspiration and your future support. So thank you.
Thanks. Well, thanks to you, Madam President, to the faculty, the staff, and the student body here. One of the nice things about coming to Bay Path University, it's always a good news story. And just a little bit of background, because when you have an audience like this, particularly such a youthful part of the audience, it's always a chance to talk about government spending. And as you know, the public in the generic, they tend to object to government spending, but they support it in the specific. That's a key consideration. And I think that there's also a very important element to this discussion. I always like doing this when I'm in an academic setting, because you can tell much of my life has been spent in academics, the last 24 years at the University of Massachusetts as well. But it's a chance to explain something that I think that sometimes it's missed, because today, particularly with students of your age that are keen on the internet and social media, where the information is kind of blasted at you every 2 seconds and the topic is changed. So we move to the next conflict or controversy very quickly and very readily. So there's less time to do context. And media tend to focus conflict because there's less space and less time to explain things. So there's a good reason in our constitutional system that Congress is mentioned as the first branch of government. Very good reason to provide a check on the executive. That's what the American Revolution was about. And I think always noting that is an essential ingredient in our constitutional galaxy. So people will say to me from time to time, the president says this or a president says that, and I always remind them in audiences like this, there's so many academics, members of Congress don't serve under presidents. We serve with presidents. We are an ample check on presidents. So we've had this ongoing battle since the founding of the nation as to executive prerogatives and congressional authority. And I raise that because whether it was President Reagan or President Bush or President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Trump, and now President Biden, I've never felt that they should be able to tell me what to do with our constitutional authority. Congress decides that. And we are by far the closest institution to the American people. We hear from you readily. I was kidding Liz on the way in, who gets a lot of, I think, credit for helping you to put this together. I said to her when I saw the crowds and the nice signs and all, I was laughing. I say, Liz, we've had a lot tougher audiences over the years. Screaming and hollering at you in a room and you're patiently listening. But coming to this expenditure and this investment in this, it's noted, the Success Center. The history of this university is loaded with success stories. And one of the nice things about getting to participate with you, most of you are going to stay nearby in the future. You're going to be the infusion of knowledge and success and energy that's going to go into the story of what happens here in the Pioneer Valley and central and western Massachusetts. So when you consider that you're also a full partner in the Cyber Center, I listened to a pretty good NPR story this morning about what cybersecurity is going to mean in the near future and the long-term future. And I was with the president in Baltimore Wednesday night. He raised it again. But what's essential is you're turning out students here that are going to be able to participate fully in the American economy. Now, the American economy has rebounded so much more quickly than the rest of the world. You know, for all the talk, we were standing here 3 years ago, the media were entirely focused on how China was handling the pandemic. Well, I don't think anybody who watched it 6 months ago would have been saying that they handled it very well. In New Zealand, they were the ones. Well, the Prime Minister just announced her retirement, and she's polling at 38%. So let me give you that economic snapshot that's essential. On March 11th of 2020, Dr. Fauci gave his warning as to what was to come, and it sure did come. So in 3 months, America lost 20 million jobs. That's why we have unemployment insurance. That's why we had the Paycheck Protection Program. That's why we had the loans for small businesses across the country. And I bring that up because now in the rearview mirror, there's always that opportunity to critique what it was that we were doing.
Okay, I'm just listening.
But when you look at not only that all 20 million jobs have been returned, but there are now 11 million jobs in America every single day that go unanswered. That means that the following, that there are 2 jobs for every unemployed person in America right now. 2 jobs. So it's the power of the idea, which is part of your success story. And I was talking to a young woman here today, and we were talking just briefly, that 30-second conversation about entrepreneurship, right? And, you know, I always say to students, you should read the history of Steve Jobs. Not the easiest personality. In fact, a pretty difficult personality. But there's this magnificent line that he uttered all of the time. We need to show people what they're going to want. And the business professors, they're nodding their heads because that's part of our job. And I think that what we're doing here is we're providing you with just another dimension to what it is that you're going to undertake. So it's always a good news story. And even as I talked about the faculty and the staff and the students, the other part of this great institution is when I come by on a cold winter night where there's snow on the ground, the grounds always look spectacular, welcoming. So to the professional staff that does that as well, a note of congratulations. And so I think President Dornan, she's done a great job here. And she tells a good story every day. And I'll just close on this note that there's 2 stories in America every single day. There's ones our friends in the media want to tell, and there's the ones that we want to tell. And there's competition, and some days there's conflict over it. But when you have a chance to get out these good stories like this, you want to tell them because you want to remind people of the investment of hard-earned tax dollars and how those are expended in the end with, incidentally, accountability. It's not just the blank check. It's, okay, we do this, and then eventually there's a review. So the scrutiny, the microscope that is put on these grants, it has to stand up. And so the professional staff that work with Liz in my office, when you submit this, they are reviewed by professionals who do nothing every day but review the application. And they go through them, I've got to tell you. And to get to the point that we are with this $1 million, it's a nice story. But most importantly, it's because of what you all did and what President Dornan and the staff here does every single day. So congratulations from the United States of America.
So, Congressman, we thank you for the ARFA money, the ARPA money, the HERF money, because those funds, much of went directly to students per congressional instructions, really supported our institution during the pandemic. So another round of applause for your support. So speaking of student success stories, and thank you for that introduction, I'd like to invite Julia Dudek, who is the president of our SGA, to come up and offer her words of thanks. Julia and her family came to the United States from Poland when Julia was 6. knowing no English, speaking only Polish. So from there, obviously accomplished everything is what I would say. Going through elementary school, middle school, high school, Bay Path University, and now hopefully on to graduate school. That's her dream. And so we couldn't be more thrilled that Julia has been part of our community for the last 4 years. And as the alums know in this audience, once you're part of our community, you are always a member of the Bay Path community. So please join me in welcoming Julia Dudek.
Thank you, everybody. Congressman Neal. On behalf of the student body, I would like to sincerely thank you for your commitment to enriching the educational journey of so many students at Bay Path University. This gracious investment is not simply a one-time donation with a one-time impact. This gift will leave a long-lasting mark on the lives of students at Bay Path, just like me. You are part of our success story, and no words can truly encompass how deeply we appreciate your dedication and generosity. Although our motto is Carpe Diem, you are the embodiment of Carpe Futurum. Thanks to you, we can seize our destiny. Thank you, and go Wildcats.
Amazing. So please join me in a standing ovation for the chairman, and then we are going to move into our employee appreciation lunch. So what a great day for Bay Path.